Hey, it's Beata
And Sarah.
from Beata English Coaching. We are doing past perfect continuous today.
Yeah.
And this is the last tense. So we have covered all the tenses and we are at the finishing line.
Wow.
So we always give you a context. It is an interactive lesson. You can practice your pronunciation, intonation. The context is running.
Yeah, marathon.
Yes, because I love running. Sarah loves
Walking.
and
Running.
I meant a sport.
Oh, okay. Tennis. Oh, no.
We will start with the jokes. We will give you a context and hopefully you will enjoy this lesson and you will learn the grammar. We've got a joke for you. Could you please pause it and try to come up with the missing word?
For weeks, Jill had been walking past an expensive boutique on her way to work, and each time she had stopped briefly to look in the window. One day she went in and said, "Would you please take that dress with red flowers out of the window?" "Certainly, madam," replied the shop assistant. "Ah, thank you. It's been annoying me for weeks."
Do you like the joke?
Yeah.
Do you like shopping?
Yes.
Has it ever happened to you?
Yeah. Damn thing still. Yeah.
It is still there.
Yeah.
Shall I buy it? In the joke, you can see that there is the past perfect continuous tense. We also have past perfect simple tense. She had stopped. So if you are not clear about the past perfect simple, can you please watch the previous video? And also there is present perfect continuous. You need to, if you are confident with the present perfect continuous, then this one, past perfect continuous, will be easier to understand. And why? If we look at the sentences, Jill looks very upset. Why? I think she has been crying. Present perfect continuous explains something about now. If we shift it back and we say Jill looked very upset.
Yeah.
Why? Why did she look upset? I thought she had been crying. There is always a relationship, what we discussed last time.
The first one, she's still looking upset.
Mm-hmm.
Jill looks very upset.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, Jill looked, means that she is not looking upset anymore.
So just revise all the tenses. This is the last one. This is the finishing line. And then once you've done it, then you will hopefully feel confident. We've got another joke.
Mrs. Smith had been taking her doctor's advice for weeks, but she wasn't feeling any better. So she decided to see the doctor again. "The pills you gave me don't seem to be working. I still feel extremely tired." "Well," said the doctor, "perhaps your problem is your diet. What have you been eating?" "Oh," exclaimed Mrs. Smith, "am I supposed to eat as well?"
And
Mrs. Smith is pretty stupid, to be honest.
And she and she looked terrible.
Yeah.
And why did she look terrible?
Because she had not been eating.
Yes, she had been following doctor's advice, but she had not been eating. She had only been taking
The pills.
Yes. Is that the right thing to do?
No.
No.
As I say, she's stupid.
Yes. And we are not, so we are going to learn the past perfect continuous so we can sound educated and confident when we speak English. Today's context is running and half marathon. Sarah will now read this text. You can after pause the video and work on your pronunciation, intonation, speed, and also think about past perfect continuous.
I've just got back from the half marathon. I'm tired but very happy. I did very well because I had been training very hard for a year. When I crossed the finishing line, I cried. I had been running for nearly 2 hours. Jack was standing there. He had been waiting for me the whole time. We were both soaking wet. I, because I had been running in the rain, and he, because he had been standing in the rain while he waited for me. I was thrilled to see him. I'd been looking forward to this day for such a long time, so when I got home, I called my parents. They had been watching it on TV and felt very proud of me. So we then started talking about next year's marathon.
So even if you don't like running, this is not about, and
I was
you are
going to
like,
say,
Sarah,
this is not about me.
It's about the English. Have a look at the text and think about the use of past perfect continuous tense. You have quite a few examples. Think about the earlier past. Think about what happened before something else happened. Okay, so we have given you some tips. So when do we use it? When we talk about actions and situations which had continued up to the past moment. So the key words are before then. Something happened before then. So when we look back to something before this past time, we use this past perfect tense, and it always shows a relationship with another past event.
At that time, we had been living in the caravan for about 6 months. When I found Mary, I could see that she had been crying. I went to the doctor because I had been sleeping badly. He had been training for 5 years when he entered the race.
So how can we understand this?
First he trained, then he entered the race. She was out of breath. It was clear she had been running. First of all, she was running, and then that made her out of breath. The streets were wet. It had been raining. The rain had fallen, and then the streets were wet with rain. Okay. I finally saw Jack at 2 a.m. I had been waiting for hours. Waiting and then seeing Jack.
When we have a look at the forms, how do we form positive statements? So we've got the subject plus had plus been and plus base form of a verb plus ing, so gerunds. I had been working, she had been running, we had been living. And negatives, how do we form negatives? Plus not. So subject, had, not, or hadn't, plus been, plus gerunds. And how do we form questions? We swap the subject or the pronoun with had. Had plus subject plus been plus a gerund. We have covered the form. If you need more time to have a look at it and to digest it, please pause the video and take as long as you need to. Practice makes perfect. It's not only about running when you want to train for a marathon. It's always about hard work and practice and revision and what else? And consistency. So we are going to give them some exercises.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yes.
And so add a sentence with the past perfect continuous to explain why. So we've got an example. Jenny got burnt. That's the past event, okay? So again, past perfect continuous tells us what happened before then.
Why she was burnt.
Yes. So why did she get burnt?
Because she'd been lying in the sun. She'd been playing with fire.
She'd been playing. As you can hear Sarah, she doesn't say she had been lying in the sun. She shortens it. So listen again.
She'd been lying in the sun.
Yeah. So in spoken English, it's shorter. She'd been lying. In spoken English, you will not often hear she had been lying in the sun. She had been playing. You will hear the shortened version. She'd been. So have a look at the other examples. Pause the video and think of the explanations. Sentence number 2. Ben looked upset. Not now, but in the past. Ben looked upset. Why did he look upset?
Because he'd been watching a sad movie, perhaps.
A book, maybe.
He had been hurt by a friend.
past perfect continuous.
Did I not do that?
No.
Oh.
Past
Because
verb-
he had been
reading
reading
a sad book.
Yeah.
That's past perfect continuous. What you said was past perfect simple.
because he had been, what's the word you know, dumped by a girlfriend. Had been dumped.
Yes. There's two things. There are two things that are wrong. He had been wrong. He had been dumped by a girlfriend. Is past perfect simple.
Yeah.
And we are doing past perfect continuous.
Oh, yeah.
So the grammar is wrong, and there was something wrong with the girlfriend. Or with him.
Whatever.
Who knows?
Okay, okay, I'm just English. I don't understand this.
Max. What about Max? Max was stopped by the police. He was stopped. That's a past event, okay?
Mhm.
Yes, he had been drinking. He had been driving fast. He had been speeding. The children started a fire.
Why did they start the fire?
Mhm.
Because they had been playing with matches.
And the last one, a young man was struck by lightning.
Because he had been standing under a tree.
Yes, that's it. So this is the final grammar tense. Past perfect continuous. Done. We've reached the finishing line
Amazing.
when it comes to English tenses. So we have covered all of them, and they are logical. I think they are logical.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Yes, as always, study at least 15 minutes a day. When you train for marathon or half marathon, you have to train every single week. You have to do something every day. It's that's how you achieve success.
Well, if you
Isn't
learn,
it?
in my experience, if you want to play the piano well, you have to play every day.
Yes, and if you want to speak the language,
Yeah.
you have to learn every single day for 15 minutes. That's all you need.
Mm.
Watch, read, listen when you drive, when you run. That's what I do. I always listen to songs and I try to memorize the lyrics. If you have enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel. Don't be the same. Don't be the same. Don't stay the same. What do we say at the end of the video? Don't be the same. Be awesome.
Yeah.
So again,
Yeah.
don't be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Train, work hard, practice, revise, work on yourself, work on your English. Bye. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.